DonInLondon, hello. October 25th, 2009, Sunday morning. We've just put the clocks back here in London, UK, and I've been having a leisurely morning, not rushing. My video is all about recovery from addiction to alcohol for me, and it could have been anything. I know that now, and it's very easy to recall when I look back, but don't stare too hard, that if I wasn't drinking, I was working. If I wasn't working, I was obsessing about something or other. Being in a relationship, not being in a relationship. What sort of food, health, you name it. Anything to go to the extremes of perfection. And really all I've learned over the last few years of being sober is how to stay in recovery one day at a time, and then be part of life, to be included, to be loved, to love back, and have something useful to do. And the gift in all of this is I'm finding out who I am on a daily basis. I thought I knew who I was. I didn't. I defined myself by the outside world rather than understanding what matters most is what's going on in my head, how to make the best of what is, and be sober. So what helps me? Well, family, community, society, professionals kept me alive long enough to get a moment of clarity at rock bottom for me, or a rock bottom. I've had many, and that's true of most people who've got into addiction. So I was kept alive long enough to get that moment of clarity, which is, or was, I cannot do it on my own. And so I realised that self-will became self-obsession, and self-will will fail. I've known this all my life, because it always has. So in the company of not strangers, but people in fellowship, I found a way to keep in recovery, keep sober, so that the rest of my life can work, so I can be included, I can be part of. So that fellowship, Alcoholics Anonymous, I'm a part of it, but I don't speak for it. AA is full of unique, authentic people who can share their experience, strength and hope where they choose, and that's most important. I don't speak for anybody else here, I just speak for me and what I'm learning on a daily basis. And what a gift. Fellowship provides a gift that's to be included again when we found ourselves in total isolation. And for me, I've been to a couple of meetings in the last 24 hours, and I'm going to go to another one tonight, because fellowship meetings of AA keep me on track. I hear experience, strength and hope from others, and it makes life work for me. So what is AA? The statement of intent shared at every meeting is called the AA Preamble. I share it here because it slows me down into the moment of now, being in the day. And it says this: Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And the anonymity bit for me is always sacrosanct. It's a place, anonymous means we go to a fellowship where we can keep our anonymity to find our truth, the truth of who we are and how to keep sober. And that's a personal decision. It's a matter of conscience how we deal with anonymity. So I can share that I am a part of AA, but I wouldn't want to share that anybody else is. That's the way it is. So we get our choices back and our free will, to an extent, I guess, on a daily basis. And those two meetings yesterday really helped me, because I heard from newcomers, I heard from people who were still thinking about what it's like, or what would it be like to be sober, and what is it like now, what is it like today for them. So from difficult to absolutely superb and wonderful, somewhere in there is the middle road I seem to tread, and I'm glad I do. So these 12 steps of action in the 12-step action program, about changing my attitude and behaviour on a daily basis. Nothing is set in stone, and I think that's so important. We are all changing all the time. So as we're changing, and sometimes we need a bit of wisdom from somewhere, and if we're not at a meeting, I tend to use books like this, the Daily Reflections, which is an AA book, and As Bill Sees It, and other ones. Bill Wilson being the co-founder of the fellowship many years ago, and learned a lot of wisdom himself and shared a lot of wisdom himself. So in the Daily Reflections, which is a collection of readings, if you like, concentrates on one step per month, and as there are 12 steps, perfect, 12 steps, 12 months, and October is the 10th step, which is always about doing an inventory on a daily basis, or doing an inventory of how am I feeling, why, what can I do, or what is going on for me. Am I reacting to life or responding to what is around me? And am I judging other people rather than just judging my own conduct? And it reminds me every day, you know, we all get about, pedestrians, bicyclists, car drivers, taxi drivers, bus drivers, lorry drivers, you name it, we're all out there. And even the smallest thing can upset us when somebody gets in our way. And that's really the same as anything. And we have to ask ourselves, need we get angry? Don't they have a right to be there too? So we find a balance in all of those things. The alcoholic mind, even mine, can go to extremes of negativity and anger quite quickly. And I'm reminded of that every time I go to a meeting. Anyway, the reading for today, for October the 25th, AA's Heartbeat. Without unity, the heart of AA would cease to beat, As Bill Sees It, page 125. Without unity, I would be unable to recover in AA on a daily basis. By practicing unity within my group with other AA members and at all levels of this great fellowship, I receive a pronounced feeling of knowing that I am part of a miracle that was divinely inspired. The ability of Bill W. and Dr. Bob working together and passing it on to other members tells me that to give it away is to keep it. Unity is oneness, and yet the whole fellowship is for all of us. And the greatest gift of the unity of fellowship being for all of us is that it also means that when we go out into life in general, we share how we are by our conduct, how we're learning how to live again, and to live in harmony with people rather than in conflict, which is so easy. In As Bill Sees It today, I do these linearly. Page 239, when and how to give. And this is quite important actually. Men who cry for money and shelter as a condition of their sobriety are on the wrong track. Yet we sometimes do provide a new prospect with these very things. When it becomes clear that he is willing to place his recovery first, so we always say sober first, and then the rest of life can happen, so we can be part of everything, family, community, and everything. It's not whether we shall give that. Let's start that again. It is not whether we shall give that is the question, but when and how to give. Whenever we put our work on a material plane, the alcoholic commences to rely upon the alms rather than upon a higher power and the AA group. He continues to insist that he cannot master alcohol until his material needs are cared for. Nonsense! Exclamation mark. Some of us have taken a very hard knocks to learn this truth, that job or no job, wife or no wife, we simply do not stop drinking so long as we place material dependence upon other people ahead of dependence on God, or good conscience, as we come to understand. And, you know, my story, I ended up in the gutter, homeless, and it took a few years to actually get my senses back. And I think, you know, whilst I was helped along the way with great kindness and love by family, there was a reliance there. And until I actually found a reliance on finding the good in me through to understanding God or good conscience as my guide again, rather than reliance on others, I could not really get to grips with living life choices in the moment of now, and learning how to be sober, and those wonderful 12 steps of action, and changing my attitude and behaviour, so I could then be part of family again. So for me, I always end with a serenity prayer: to God of your understanding, all good conscience, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference is just for today.